Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to the Eye Opener Society. Tonight's episode is going to be talking about positive thinking. This is a way to help you through your life, to help get through some of the bad times, as well as kind of paint the picture for the life that you really want in the future. Sit back, relax. Hopefully, this helps you out a little bit. It's going to teach you how to think positively. So sit back, relax, and enjoy as Hannah and I bring you the positive thinking episode. Hey, everyone, and welcome once again to the Eye Opener Society. We really appreciate you tuning in. You have your host, you have me, Gary, and you have my wonderful stepdaughter, Hannah.
Hey.
Thank you again for tuning in. Thank you again for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah, our audience means the world to us. We appreciate everybody for being here and the friends we've made, the other podcasters that we have out there. Wonderful, wonderful people. I'm thinking about doing a show. I want to put this idea out there to everybody just as kind of a teaser, but it's going to take some real logistic stuff. I wanted to have an episode called Podcasters because this is a hobby of mine and I know it's a hobby of yours. And one day we're going to be famous from it. I
One
just
day.
know that it's going to happen. And that's going to be the theme behind this show is power of positive thinking. And I'm positively thinking we're going to become famous off of this. One day we're going to wake up and somebody said, holy crap, this is the best freaking podcast we've ever heard.
Here's $1 million.
Here's $1 million, and then we could stop podcasting, right? But I made so many great friends from this, people I communicate through with networking and all that. Trying to rattle them off really quick. Nonsense and Deep Thoughts podcast, the Bell Witch podcast. Ouch, was that a ghost? Twisted Tales, Mortal Musings. These are some great, great people. I really think that I'm going to do an episode. It's going to be kind of like a Zoom Brady Bunch thing where all these people, I'm going to get all of them in together one day. Logistically, I don't know because some are overseas and also we got to go on Zulu time and we got to match all this up and everybody's got to be on the same page. It's going to happen, folks. It's going to. We're going to make it happen. I'm going to host it and we're going to sit and we're going to talk and we're going to learn about each other. That's the positivity that we're thinking about right now. It's going to be a difficult episode to pull off, but I think we can do it.
We can do it.
We certainly can. And that brings us to this episode tonight, the power of positive thinking. Hannah and I, we done an episode with a friend of ours, Maria. It's called The Law of Attraction. And a lot of this has to do with the same thing, but this is a little bit stronger than that. This is the power of positive thinking. How our subconscious mind works, not only for positivity, but it can heal.
Mm-hmm.
Outcomes can be different. I mean, we've really got to sit because, again, we're still in this month where everything's changing. It's a new year and people have been feeling overwhelmed. There's so much on people's plates. I know I've gone through a lot of shit recently.
Me too.
Yeah, I felt you, you see me cry. I see you cry. Listen, it happens. But how do we fix this? Do we sit and wallow in our misery?
No.
Exactly. What do we do?
We positive think and manifest.
Yeah, that we do.
Which is kind of it's one and the same, but it's like differences.
Yeah, with the law of attraction, what we want to attract, we think positive about, and whatever we think good will come good to us. With positive thinking, this is much deeper. This is a subconscious mind where you have to sit, train yourself. And this hopefully is a little bit of a lesson to you, especially if you're feeling that overwhelming or if you're feeling that negativity and you don't think things are going to change. But I think that's where the problem is. You're thinking that things are not going to change.
Yeah.
And that's negative thinking. And in your subconscious mind right now is an architect that's building your future.
Yeah.
The building blocks that they're using is whatever you're thinking, whatever you're putting into your head, it's kind of directing these architects or the builders to build something negative if you're constantly thinking negative. Mm-hmm. So it's time to start changing that. It's time to start putting more of a positive spin on anything.
And
It's
it takes work and it's hard, but
it
it's
is.
achievable.
It's definitely achievable, and you're right. It's difficult because what do we do a lot of times? We joke around, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm having such a bad day. Oh God, I look horrible today.
Yeah.
It's a negative thought. Even though you're joking about it, your subconscious mind cannot differentiate between a joke and what's real. So even that small little joke, oh, I don't look good today. Okay, you don't look good today. That's what your subconscious mind is now saying. And it's going to build basically an ugly person for a good
Mhm.
day.
Yep. And it's going to build up that negative wall where it makes it harder for those positive thoughts that you have during the day to break down,
Mm-hmm.
or overcome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're setting yourself up basically for failure when we're doing that. So yeah, let's take a little bit of a review here. I was reading a book, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. If you want to pick it up, great. It's by Joseph Murphy and Dr. Joseph Murphy. That's weird. It says Joseph Murphy and Dr. Joseph Murphy. Are there two Joseph Murphys? One's a doctor and one's not. That's weird. I
Hey,
don't
Joe,
know.
can you just let us know?
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, Joseph Murphy. How about that? I don't know if it's that, but it's not a bad book. My only problem with it, like if any constructive criticism, it was just repetitive, very, very repetitive. But I practice this on a day because I'm very strong in meditation. And whenever I'm in a meditative state, no matter what I'm doing, my grounding is going to be based on positivity. No matter what I'm going to get out of it, it's going to be positive. And so you got to, affirmations you want to say or whatever, it's always got to be positive. But this book kind of took a little bit, and that's where I got the whole architecture of it and the subconscious mind, how it's building things up. But anywhere, yeah, like I said, whether you're just, in a meditative state or you're just walking around, hating everything, all that stuff is going to bother you even more if you keep bringing it up.
Yeah.
And how bad, oh, my job is so bad, it's horrible. Yeah, again, now your subconscious mind is going to get you and say, well, this person hates their job. Okay, well, guess what? Every single day you go to work,
You're going
you're
to
going to
hate your
hate your
job.
job.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
consistency with positive thinking is key. You have to be consistent with it. Like you said, like affirmations, you have to be consistent with it. And I'm guilty of not being consistent with it. I try to do them as much as possible, especially with my son. But lately I've just been going through it. But I've been trying to be more consistent now that, I'm kind of slowly but surely getting my shit back together. But it's so key. Like, there's nothing wrong with allowing yourself to feel the bad that you're going through, because you have to process it. Because you don't process it, you bottle it in, and that just warps away any positive thinking, blocks that you do have built up. But being consistent with that positive thinking and building is what you have to focus on. Like Gary brought up before we jumped on, we were kind of spitting it back and forth, about healing.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I just went through the horrible, horrible stomach flu virus, whatever, that's hitting United States and UK like crazy right now. And I will tell you, I was awful. I felt like death. But you know what I did? I kept saying, you're going to be okay. You're going to be healed. You're getting it out. You're going to be okay. You're healing. You're healing. You're healing. And I just kept repeating that to myself. And the next day I woke up and I was fine. That later that night I was starting to feel crappy a little bit more, and the day after and a little bit today. But I was like, you know what? You're okay. You're going to get it together. You're going to heal. This isn't going to last forever. And I feel like a brand new bitch right now.
Awesome. See how it works?
Yeah, it works
Yeah.
so easy if you just give it a try. You can't just dwindle in your negative thoughts, because that's going to do nothing for you but dig you in that hole. And it's easier than people think it is.
Mm-hmm. It is. And especially if you practice it, if it's, like I said, with meditation, like I always taught, it's something you have to do
Misery loves
consistently.
company.
And misery does love company. But to back up a little bit, just so we can kind
Yeah.
of get people on track, you were saying, yeah, you're going to have bad days. You're going to have bad moments. I'm not saying you have to be consistently positive. Those moments that when they present themselves, we have to we're going to go through them no matter what, because
you have to feel them.
you have to, but you can't dwell on them. You can't
Exactly.
let it manifest so much where you're just thinking about it all the time, then
Can't let
it's
that
not going to go
misery get the
away.
company.
Exactly. You don't want to join that misery. You don't want to be part of that crowd.
Mm.
Think now away from it. Once that moment passed and you have some moment to yourself, most of and moving with that, which you also said, where the bigger part of this is how our minds are capable of healing our bodies.
Yes.
So taking all that, just before you go to bed, start to think positive things and start thinking this: while I sleep, my body's going to repair itself.
Mm-hmm.
Every cell, every part of me. And listen, doesn't matter what you have wrong with you. Think positive and think this and say this and do it consistently every night. Not only saying it, you have to picture yourself
Mm-hmm.
healthy, rebuilt, better than you were before. If you picture that, and this is where it gets hard because sometimes I know life can be challenging, life can be disastrous, but you need to start getting that mental image in you and start telling yourself, as I sleep, my body's going to repair itself all the way down to the cellular level. Everything's going to work better. When I wake up, I'm going to be stronger, fitter. If you're looking to lose weight, gain weight, whatever it is, think it. Picture yourself that way. You
Yeah.
have to actually physically picture yourself wanting the desire to want this. That's the law of attraction. Once it's all inside of your head like that, you'll see positive results. And don't expect to wake up the next day being 100%
Yeah.
healed.
It takes time for
Takes
the
time.
positive thinking to help,
Help,
you know?
exactly, because
And you have to be realistic about it. Like when
right.
you were saying that, like I was like, you can't just be like, I'm gonna wake up and I have 20/20 vision. No, bitch, you're still gonna be blind. I'm sorry.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
but like with the healing and like you said, like the weight loss or like the weight gain, it's like we're not saying that like you're gonna manifest that and it's gonna automatically happen, but it's gonna put your mind into a position where you are going to be more motivated to reach your goal.
Yes. All this includes meditation. You
Yes.
don't get results by just thinking them. You have to take the steps. You
Mhm.
can't be lazy. You can't skip anything. Go through whatever treatments, go through whatever medications or whatever it is you need to do, but put that holistic healing inside of your mind.
Yes.
So if you're going to go to bed thinking positive and saying you're going to rebuild and reheal, don't wake up in the morning and say, "Oh, I feel horrible."
Yeah.
Don't do that. You just went onto that whole opposite end of the spectrum. And your mind is just going to say, okay, well, guess what? We're waking up today. We're
Yeah.
horrible, and you're going to be horrible again.
I'm like, I woke up that one. I was like, this medicine is gonna. I went to bed. I was like, this medicine's gonna work for me. I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna feel great. And I
Mhm.
did. I did. I did.
So yeah, it does. And this is a placebo effect.
It is.
And but that just lets you know that the metaphysical is real when we talk about the placebo effect, just because the placebo effect is a metaphysical thing that occurs. We think, our minds just think, and it does. That's what a placebo effect is.
Mhm.
So these things are real. And we are coming around this age now. I know I spoke about this before, where some doctors, some health facilities are incorporating this holistic healing, and it's about time.
They are.
It's becoming more and more natural for doctors to
Mhm.
tell you stuff like this, or to tell you to incorporate meditation or yoga or
Mhm.
whatever it might be into their regular medicine, because
Yes.
we're seeing through the lies of medicine. We're seeing through the lies of all these extra side effects in the pharmaceutical industry and all. We're seeing that holistic healing is going to give you that 110% boost, because your mind is what's actually affecting every little
Yeah.
cellular.
My mom's doctor even was like, you need to relax and, you know, start trying to get yourself in a reducing stress like mode,
Mm-hmm.
because that will help her.
Right. Yeah,
So,
it's because after, like, and your mom is a perfect example of this, because after all the medications, all the doctor's visits, all the operations, she's still not anywhere near healed.
yeah.
And again, that falls back, and I'm not saying this in a negative way, but that falls back on her. her mindset and how she thinks.
Mhm.
She's very high strung, overthinks everything, and always thinks the negative.
Mhm.
So you're never going to be healed if you're
Yeah.
only thinking negative. You have to start doing the positive. Hannah and I mean, I know we spoke about this. Start writing all the negative down on
Yeah.
a piece of paper.
And burning it.
Burn it, man. Burn
Yes.
it. And then, but not only burn it, envision everything you wrote down, envision it in those flames disappearing and
Yes.
going
It works
away.
so good. And I do it. I started the tradition 2 New Years ago. And I plan to do it again this New Year's. Just letting shit go. Like
Mhm.
not and like letting negative thoughts go, negative impacts on your life go, like whether that be a person or an event that happened. I'm guilty of being a person that says it is what it is. And I sometimes hate myself for it. But then if I'm looking at that at the bigger aspect, I kind of look at it almost as a positive thing for me because I let shit go that way. And I trust in karma that whatever karma is due for a person, if they did me wrong, will come to them. And that's kind of like a positive thing for me,
Mhm.
so that I take it as that way. Sometimes
Right.
people, you hear it is what it is, and you're like, that's like a therapist number one thing that they fucking hate hearing.
Right.
But it's a positive thing for me because I trust in, the energy and the karma that what will be is going to be. It's meant to happen. It's gonna happen. And there's nothing that I can do to change about that. And that's a huge positive thought to start with, is
Mhm.
that you can't change what is,
Mhm.
you can't change what is.
Right. We're actors
Hmm.
on stage. We're given a bunch of props, but our mind is what's creating the script. If we want a better story, we need to think a better story. This helps with anything. Having a shitty day, change your mood by thinking positive. If it's raining outside, think sunshine in your head. It changes success. You could be a successful person by thinking you're a successful
Hmm.
person and start living like one. You actually gotta want it that badly where you envision everything. It helps personality wise. If you really feel you have some negative traits, if you change the way you think and think more positive and say, okay, well, I'm not going to be
Hmm.
like this anymore. I'm going to change. And you have to reaffirm it. And like I say, it's not going to happen overnight, but it's something you need to
Yeah,
practice.
it's just focusing on intentional living.
Yeah. And again, and I bring this up, we're all guilty of this. Everybody wants results immediately. So this does not work if you do it a couple times, say, oh, well, this is ridiculous. It's not going to work. Well, guess what? That's negative thinking and it's not going to work.
Exactly.
You just put the ultimate negative back into your mind and your mind's just going to go right back to the way it was. Let things start to happen. Like I said, you can't make that change without putting in the effort as well. So the positive thinking is one thing, but doing the positive things is another. Start acting different, start changing. Know when to say, oh, I don't want to act like that anymore. So go back and change, what you just did for the better. Do the complete opposite of what you would do. Start making that effort while you're thinking the positive as well. And then you'll start to achieve a lot more. And I could teach this all in meditation too, because when you're in a meditative state, it's much easier to recognize when you see yourself in a different perspective when you remove the ego. But that's another thought
Yeah.
for another time with
And I
meditation.
think what the important thing is like with when building positive thinking, like I said, it's an intentional living and you have to build your confidence and you definitely have to build your self-esteem to be able to like achieve this. And when you're doing positive thinking, that is automatically going to boost your self-esteem. If you're constantly, like you said, in the negative and you're saying, oh, I look bad today, so I'm going to look bad today. It's a
Mhm.
thing in your mind. But once you start building those, oh my gosh, I did my hair very good today. You're building that self-esteem up, and that is going to open up so many branches of doors for just more. It's going to flow just naturally for you, positive
Mhm.
thinking, and you're going to weed away so many of that negative.
Mhm. Yeah. And if you do start small and start to see the results, you'll start to see how this works.
Hmm.
And then you'll start going for bigger things.
Yeah.
Think about everything that you want out of life, no matter what it is, whatever it is. Again, you're on that stage, you're the actor. What do you want to portray? Start thinking that. Be the actor. Think of yourself acting on that stage, acting out everything you want. The things you could build and achieve. just through your own mind and that
Mhm.
own positive thinking, you'll start to see just how amazing it is.
Yeah.
Yes, you're going to go through bad times. It's how you're going to be able to handle them after your positive thinking. You're going to go into those situations with less stress, less worry, and you know that there will be a positive outcome
Yeah.
rather than always thinking about a negative outcome.
And some easy ways to start this. I used to take a expo like dry erase marker and just write affirmations on my mirror in the morning. Or also, there's so many like go to a bookstore. You will be so surprised on how many affirmation books that
Mhm,
you can buy, and you can find the one that like, fits you, right? And just like opening up those books and like reading those words and really claiming them,
mhm,
that will open you up to the starting of positive thinking, and then you'll be able to access like the true scheme of
mhm.
positive thinking, because it means so many different things. We talked about healing, we talked about manifesting. Like there's just so much that comes into positive thinking, and once you get it down, and you can it like you said, start small, but once you get it down, it's just you'll live a more, I feel like, elevated life.
Yeah, you do. I practice it as I
Yeah,
do with meditation, with the affirmations, with just a positive mindset.
it helps mental
Mhm.
wellness out of anything.
That, and you see, and that's the most important. This podcast, like the mental wellness of this, we are all in this negative state because what surrounds us? Negativity.
Yeah.
Always, no matter where you go, there's always something negative. So we are
Mhm.
sponges. We just take
Yeah.
this in, and that misery that loves company. Well, guess what? We become its company.
Yeah.
Don't become its company.
Yeah.
Leave it outside. Think
And you don't
different.
have to do positive thinking alone.
Right. You don't.
You
You
don't.
absolutely don't.
I will be real. I was having a really horrible day today. I was crying many, many different
Mhm.
times. But as soon as my mom and Gary came up, I just was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna be okay. Like they're here. They're here to listen. And I can get out my negative and leave it out. And it wasn't that I was pushing my negative onto you guys. I was just getting my thoughts out
Mhm.
and having an ear to listen, but you guys weren't taking it in,
Mhm.
you
Right.
were just like letting me get it out, and that was it. And then I was like, oh my gosh. I immediately went positive and I was like, I'm going to be okay. Like I got it out and I know I'm not a shitty person
Mhm.
and I'm going to be good.
And what happened a little bit later? Like
I
the
got,
things that were
yeah,
bothering me, what happened? Everything changed.
everything changed because I was like, immediately, I was like, I'm not claiming this negative.
Mhm.
I'm not claiming this negative energy that's going
Mhm.
around right now. And, you know, I came up with a little quick solution. I came back and it was like a 360 just right
Mhm.
then and there. That's
Yeah.
how powerful positive thinking is.
Mhm.
And like I said, you don't have to do it alone.
Yeah. So make sure though you find the people that are positive because you
Yes.
can find a lot of negative people. Once you start cutting that negativity out of your life, no matter who it is, you'll start to live a little bit better.
Hmm.
Yeah, find those people that are positive, those people that can help you. Reach out and use those people. It's very easy to get drawn into other negative
Hmm.
people. Again, we are sponges. We really do enjoy going down those negative, dark roads for whatever the reason is. That's what we need to start understanding and changing our mindset to get away from
Hmm.
that. Understand who makes you
Yeah.
feel good. Like I said, I like doing this podcast. It's comforting to me.
Yes.
It's an escape. It really
Hmm.
is because no matter what's going on outside, it doesn't exist right
Yeah.
now. Only the sound of my voice, the sound of your voice. It's calming to me. So that's why I'm doing
Hmm.
this. It's a positive experience for me.
Yes.
So find those things in your life. Just find them. I mean, everybody knows it. We got to look for it a little bit harder. Find those things that are positive
Hmm.
to you and apply them and use them constantly and start cutting out. Start catching yourself whenever you say something negative, immediately change it to a positive. And
Hmm.
you'll trust me, you'll realize that things will
You'll
start to
feel the
get better.
difference. You'll
Mhm.
feel it.
Yeah. It'll even if it doesn't change the entire situation right away, at least it's going to lessen that blow.
Hmm.
It's not going to be as difficult to get through it then. Yeah, like I said, bad things are going to happen. And yes, that isn't negative, but if we realize that they're just things, And
Mhm.
depending on your perspective of it, you could change it. If we keep thinking of it as a negative, it's going to constantly be a negative and it'll grow into a much larger negative. So squash it right away and think positive.
Yeah.
Think of a positive outcome, no matter. So I guess that's the best way. The solution. Think of the solution as being a positive outcome. That's all.
Mhm.
And think it and want it to happen so much that it will actually happen. That's the best way I could
Yeah.
explain it. We're not therapists. We're not psychologists. We don't have anything. We are ordinary people. Hannah just said what happened to her. Told you that like, this is how I go through my life. We're not doctors. We're not psychiatrists, but we're regular people and we go through the same things everybody else does.
Yeah.
And we all have to figure out life
Mhm.
together. And hopefully this is going to help you and get you through some things.
And last minute before we go, just be kind to yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that helps too, because kindness is positive. Be kind to yourself. Don't beat yourself up. Things are going to happen. You might make mistakes, but again, turn it around, be kind to yourself, and definitely think positive. We hope you enjoyed this.
Mhm.
We hope you learned a little bit of something. Like I said, again, if you do catch yourself being negative, just change it to a positive and let us know if it helped. We really like that kind of feedback. All right. So hopefully everybody has a great time. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
And we will be back soon.
See ya.
Hey, everyone, and thank you so much for listening to our latest podcast. We really do appreciate the support. And speaking of support, since you listen to us, why don't you have a listen to some of our great friends on their fantastic podcasts as well? If you have a second, have a listen to the following shows: Nonsense and Deep Thoughts, hosted by Corey and Justin, a variety show. I'm sure everybody will find something there that you can get into. They have spin-offs. They even do a sports show, as well as Tales from the NICU, and hopefully soon they'll have a political show as well. So that's Nonsense and Deep Thoughts. If you're into the Wiccan religion or witchcraft, curious about it, would like to learn more, have a listen to Swales as she hosts her podcast, Bell Witch Podcast, a fantastic show. I enjoy it so much. And if you are into the true crimes, the cold case files, a little bit of mystery, have a listen to my friend Chris Tell on Twisted Tales. He hosts a very good show there. Twisted Tales, a very good podcast, especially for cold case files. You might have some information that could help lead to the capture of some people that committed some really horrible crimes. Then listen to Ouch Was That a Ghost? Ouch Was That a Ghost is a fantastic show hosted by Liz. She does a great show. She deals with paranormal ghost stories, torture, and it's all with some very special humor tuned in with that as well. So definitely have a listen. Ouch Was That a Ghost? Matt and Monica, they host the Matt and Monica podcast, and that is one of my favorite shows. They are so raw, so real. Their stories can be very touching, very eye-opening, and they all have a very valuable lesson. So definitely have a listen to the Matt and Monica podcast. We hope to hear from you soon. Take care.